Back in 1991, Guido van Rossum had a very straightforward idea. He wanted to build a programming language that was incredibly easy to read and incredibly easy to write. No aggressive semicolons, no complicated syntax, just pure simplicity for beginners. He succeeded. In fact, he succeeded a little too well. Today, the barrier to entry is so non-existent that any random guy down the street can type a basic "Hello World" command and immediately update his LinkedIn profile to say AI engineer. To understand the risk, look at how the code is actually written. Instead of writing original logic, Python developers solve problems by installing other people's code. This diagram maps out an average Python project. To make a single application function, developers pull in hundreds of these tiny, interconnected packages, creating a sprawling web of dependencies. Delete or break just one package, and the fragile pillar collapses, triggering a chain reaction of system failures big enough to be seen from orbit. Managing that web requires navigating a fractured landscape of package managers like pip, virtual env, and setup tools. Initializing a project requires picking a side in an ongoing package manager war. At this point, choosing a library feels like joining a political party. Python is notoriously painfully slow to run. The secret to Python optimization is a profound contradiction. Making the code run fast requires stripping out the Python entirely. Every developer eventually discovers that high-performance Python code actually replaces it with C. It is like buying a Ferrari, only for the official performance guide to tell you that the car will only ever hit its top speed if you replace the engine with a Lamborghini. Python's power is a facade. It's a fragile wrapper hiding chaotic dependencies and borrowed machine code. The design flaws extend to the language's core structure. Python uses dynamic typing, meaning it completely refuses to verify if a variable is a number, a string, or a list before the code runs. Other languages carefully catch logic errors up front, but Python patiently waits until 3 a.m. in a critical process to crash because it suddenly realized a number was actually a word. The language also uses invisible geometry, blank spaces, and indentation to define its code blocks. This places the entire structural integrity of a massive application strictly on exactly how many times you pressed the spacebar. This 16-core CPU schematic illustrates Python's hardware bottleneck, the global interpreter lock. It physically blocks 15 processing lanes with heavy locks. Despite having power to simulate the universe, Python processes one thread at a time, leaving most hardware completely idle. It survives through sheer, ruthless utility. For all its flaws, Python bridges the gap between a human idea and a functional execution faster than any pristine, architecturally perfect language out there. In the real-world tech industry, strict architectural purity loses out to accessibility. Getting the job done quickly will almost always win the market. Right now, this chaotic, duct-taped language is holding together half the internet and powering the servers for the world's most advanced artificial intelligence companies. These severe architectural flaws, major artificial intelligence companies, and arguably half of the internet, rely almost exclusively on this exact infrastructure. In the business world, getting a task executed quickly and without friction is highly prioritized over writing pristine, architecturally perfect code. And if you work in modern tech, your own career probably depends on this duct-taped ecosystem staying online. AI companies, the backbone of the internet, and most software-related jobs now rely entirely on this flawed, haphazard architecture. This infrastructure has become an inescapable layer of digital duct tape. The world has invested so much into this foundation that the cost of starting over now outweighs the daily frustration of keeping it running.